Only the Best by Carlos Ramos. Go the other way for you real quick.
You guys ask me questions on anything in the industry. I've now broken down and I've become a specialist just in men's. I have a loft in downtown Los Angeles where I just do kind of my exclusive clients and we try to be creative and just do our stuff. But I'm going to just break you down some... My biggest thing is, like, I love showing you guys simplicity. I'm going to talk to you guys like you're 10 years old when it comes to this fade, or I'm going to be like, just do the line to here and then stop and then continue. So I'm not going to try to use too many complicated words or overdo it. Alright, so I'm going to just teach you guys some little basics. I think I'm going to start with like a 2, and there's 3 fades with men's hair. There's like low 1/4 inch fades, which are really like shorter, tighter, more ethnic hair, where they just want that and they just want this. So, and then there's mid fades, which goes from your parietal bone to your occipital bone, and then there's high fades, where it almost looks military cut, or a lot of those dudes that were man bunning it and just top like undercutting it all the way through. So I'm going to show you guys kind of like a mid fade on this. Alright, so I'm going to start with the 2. And you guys, the lever is one of the most important things. Like, the lever is everything. And I swear, even like I've watched some of the videos that you guys get taught or something. Even yesterday I was watching some of the videos just to be like, let me see what I should touch base on and not. And nobody talks about that. Even when they're doing it and they're blending it, they're like moving it. They're just tapping it. And there's 5 notches on the lever. But here's something that's very important too in this industry, in the beauty industry. Become a specialist. Don't be a Walmart of everything. You pick your one thing. I'm legally licensed to do anything I want. I remember doing pedicures in here. I remember getting haircuts and being like, paying haircut clients and be like, let me use it as a pedicure, please. I don't want to do a pedicure. Like, so pick your like specialties eventually, because people really love that in this whole industry. It's just, I'm legally allowed to do color. I can do like a 5 on color, but my men's cuts are like 9s, 10s. Like, I want to stay focused on what I'm the best at. So in the long run, you're going to want to focus and really specialize down, especially this day and age where everyone's a specialist. You guys know that. Even there's girls that do eyelash extension, everything, that are just specialists at that. They stay focused. Alright, so everything off parietal and occipital bone. Just know those 2 main ones. Everybody, I've seen videos, everyone's like, temporal bone, all this. I used to just call it parietal and occipital bone. Parietal is right where it ramps off the side. Occipital is right where it ramps off the back. So even when I start, I'm just going to go right to mid, and I'm going to just go with like a bouncing section, and I'm going to go light. Head down a little bit. And also like direct your clients. Like tell them, oh, head up, chin down. And always brush down with something. You can either use a comb or a little brush. Bend their ears are fine. That was always like a weird thing in the beginning. What's that?
Just making a joke.
So check this out. Oh yeah, this is my favorite machine, and I recommend it to you guys. I'm a smaller dude. This is a Magic Clip Wall cordless, lightest machine. If you have a heavy machine, you're gonna be with like 2 hands trying to balance something even. So the lighter the machine, the easier. But I think for all you guys, it's the best one. And again, you guys know cords suck. You guys know there's nothing more annoying than just being like, ugh, like the cord. The last thing left is the blow dryer. We have trimmers, everything, but the blow dryer is the one thing that they haven't made a good blow dryer yet. That's cordless. So I'm just ramping off that section. Almost super clean. And it doesn't have to be perfect, the first section, because we're going to blend out that first line. I always carry a second just for that reason. This'll, it'll cut through about like, I do about 35 to 45 minute haircuts, and it'll last me like 2 to 3. 3 haircuts,
yeah, around 3.
And then we swap them. So it's always good, like if you get one of the cordless ones, buy a double of it.
And how do you get like your, because like I always watch the barbering videos and they just like but obviously, like, I'm not that
The motion,
good
the
at-
dexterity, yeah.
Like
It's just doing it, like, and that's what I tell people. I'm like, even when you see classes, you can go see the most amazing hairdresser. It's like playing basketball with Kobe Bryant. You can go shoot with him 3-pointers all weekend for 3 days, 12 hours every day. You're not going to be in the NBA by Monday. Like, it's just, you're not going to be able to do those anyways. So just do it a lot and just, like, get your dexterity down. Just understand the feel of that. If I put it in my left hand, like, that's a whole different game for me. Like, that's like, that feels uncomfortable. So this one, just because I've done it so much, I've gotten comfortable and I have more control. And it's the same thing with shears, where I even tell everybody, like, I used to just carry around my shears until they felt like they're a part of my hand. Just use it as much as you can. That way you can curve with your blade. You're not, if I put it in my left hand, same thing. I'm like, don't cut your fingers, you know? But when you actually get comfortable with it, you get better control. You won't hit that. But yeah, just holding it, seriously, even holding it. Like, they knew even when I was in school, I used to always hold my stuff. Like, this one guy told me a long time ago, he's like, just walk around with it. Just till it feels like it's part of your hand. And it actually worked. Like, once I got comfortable with it, I felt like I had more control with it. Alright, so even right now, I'm just keeping, look, like, even when I'm doing his parting, I'm just finding his natural parting. I'm just, like, I'll comb the whole thing back together, and when I push it in, you see where it wants to separate. That's where his hair naturally wants to part. So since I see a little bit right there, I'll do a little bit of clipper over comb on this one. And you can use every tool in a different way, but almost everything's can be cut in that same weight line in a sense. Like, I could do scissor over comb if I want, or I can take, they make these combs the same size as the clippers. That's why a normal small comb is the same size as a scissor. So I'll scoop underneath, I can knock all that down. And again, leave it in the beginning. Nothing has to be perfect yet. I just want you guys to see this too. And you guys, I always tell even my apprentice, I'm like, this is the time to mess up. Right now, like, while you guys are in school, do everybody. Everybody you can. Right now, like, you have that card. They'd be like, yo, I'm still in school. The second you have your license, no, I'm not even joking. The day you have your license, like, some dude will be like, oh, you're a licensed hairdresser. They're going to think you're just as good as me at men's. You guys can probably shred me, color, up, do everything else. But I'm like, men's is just the one thing that I focused on. But still, once you have your license, everybody in the world looks at you the same. Like, you can just do everything. They can walk in a salon, they're like, oh yeah, they're a licensed hairdresser. They're the best. I'm sure they could do this ombre perfectly. You know, and it's just like, that's not true. And everybody knows that. Everyone's got, like, their own niche.
Did you go to barber school after?
I did. Like, I went to this little spot down the street, but luckily I just learned off barbers there. And that was the best thing about it, was that the best. Just because that just took my men's game, where I just got, like, my fades down a little bit better and tighter. But again, cutting with shears and doing women's cut and then cutting men's hair and blending, it's a whole different game. That's like painting with a paintbrush and then trying to spray paint graffiti. Like, it's complete two different arts. Like, everything on men is super visual. Whatever errors you have, you see them right there. With women's, I can do a little small section in the back, chop it right down to her roots. She won't find that for like 2 months, you know, like just a little skinny section. You guys going to ISSE, any of you guys? Yes. Hair show this weekend? Yeah. You guys go to it. Like, since I started it, this is going to be like my 7th year going in a row. It's so weird now, though. Like, I just feel like we've gone so many times. But that's where you'll meet everybody. That's where you'll network. Everybody at these shows are important. Like, it's crazy because I remember just being a student and working for, like, Ergo. Does Ergo still come by? Awesome, yeah. Robert Reed was, like, one of the best dudes that, like, found me in the beginning. And I still have a really cool, close relationship with him. Great company. So again, oh yeah, and I go off the widest part of the widow's peak, not the recession. The recession sounds like, oh, it's receding, you know. So it's just like, call it a widow's peak. So we all have that. Bring it back, and you go off the widest part. And I always put my finger just to follow it all the way through. Then I'll section it out. And if I need to, if I don't want to hit it, I'll clip it out. Comb it down, I see the hangover right there. Flip over comb. But seriously guys, like right now that you're in school, take everybody. This is your time where you have like that get out of jail free card by messing up a haircut. Once you get out of school, that's it. They think you're as good as everybody else. So right now, like I was one of the only ones that had business cards. Like I would have people coming. I was already like, had these little Sugar Skulls ones that had my Instagram on it, and people would be like booking and stuff, which was crazy. Yeah, it's like 5 years. Yeah, I'm not even joking. He like booked. Like I'm gonna see him like next week. No, and now you guys, like, no joke. The year I started here was the year Instagram came out. That's how I got the domain. I'm like, Instagram changed the entire industry. Like, so still tilt their head down. And again, it's just building rhythm. Like, I've just gotten super comfortable why I can go through it so much. His neckline. I'm not going to taper him out. If you don't feel comfortable skinning something out and tapering somebody, just tell them that. Deny stuff. Deny work. Don't try to do something you can't do. Hey.
What does that mean?
Tapering's that where it goes from skin into hair.
No. Skin stuffing it out?
It just turn down anything. Like if somebody asks you for a skin taper. A skin taper would be where it goes from skin and it blends right into like the lowest part of hair without you seeing a line. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, don't attempt to do it. Like, I tell everybody, I'm like, just say you're not comfortable. Say you'd rather just do a lower one. And you'd rather, like, kind of keep it natural. Everybody in this industry, I feel like everyone thinks we can do more and we want to challenge ourselves. But it's, you can give somebody 100 amazing haircuts, but they're going to only remember the one haircut that you didn't do so good. If you remember that. Like, it doesn't, you'd be like, I give you 99 amazing haircuts, but I don't care, remember that one time? You know, it's just, they're always going to remember that. So I'm going to still brush that down, and I'm going to keep it as natural as I can. So I'm just going off his hair neckline right here. And one different thing that I'm going to show you guys at the end that I do is that I style and blow dry every single client of mine, and I photograph every single client of mine still. Like, doesn't even matter. A guy's never going to ask you, hey, can you make my hair look doper or better? Like, you have to show them that. It's your job to show them what other options they have. Because for guys, we're starting to break the stigma, but it's not fully there yet, and guys are still uncomfortable asking. Even if one of my clients tells me, oh no, I'm going to go home and shower anyways right now, I go, I don't care, dude. I'm going to style it. I'm going to photograph it for me. That's it. And photograph all your work. Seriously, like back in the day, nobody imagine if you had a picture of every single haircut you've had your whole life. Like, that's not so hard. If you're a hairdresser, like, I have 33,000 pictures in my camera roll. I have like the 256 gig, so it holds a lot, but I need it for that. And your phone should be your tool. Look at your phone. As important as your shears. As important as, because everything is visual. That's how you expose your work. Alright, so I'm just going to go right back through what I went through real fast, just to touch up, and hit it from every direction. Nobody's hair, like even my hair, grows straight down on one side, and then it grows forward on one side. So it has to be hit at an angle. If you just go straight up, it doesn't catch at all. And I'm always, every time, learn to ramp back. Don't, I know you can curve in with the head, but I always tell everybody, I'm like, I'd rather go straight up. Any guy's hair, I don't care, like, looks stronger in the front fully. If you square off that whole front, people look at head shapes like this. Nobody's looking and blending. I always tell guys, I'm like, if some chick comes up to you and she goes, hey, that fade's sexy as, like, she's a barber and she's trying to get you as a client. I was like, people only say nice hair or they don't say anything at all. So no one's really looking at that. Like, everyone's looking at the whole symmetry, the whole silhouette. I tell my guy clients, I want the shadow of your head to look dope from every direction. Like, that's the goal. I want symmetry. That's why tailored clothes fits us better. Everything is symmetry. That's why guys get lined up. That's why girls put on makeup. Everything's symmetry. Contouring things. Alright, we'll work his top and we'll come back. And I love to jump around, and I'm just going to be just as ADD and spontaneous as I used to be. So everything with hair, I always tell everybody, I'm like, all my guy clients, I'll even tell them this point of your head's lower than this point of your head. And everybody, like, guys for a second, they'll be like, oh, really? And I'll be like, dude, that's all of us. It's a human skull. Like, the human skull from a shaved head grows this way. But any guy's cut should go from longest to shortest. Let it be him wearing it forward, and I want more volume and texture on the back, or he's pushing it back, and I want the layers to sit. So I'm going to teach you guys, like, just a little cheat tricks, just so we don't get super technical. Normally I would do like 5 sections vertically, and I would bring everything into the middle. I'm almost creating a U on his hair like this. I want the longest pieces of his hair to be on the sides, and then I want them to slowly go back. So it's going to be a little U this way. So if he throws his hair this way, there's little kickstands underneath to hold it. Or if he throws it that way, same thing. If I cut it in a triangle form, he's going to have all the way right in the middle, and the hair is going to kind of just canopy over. So he's going to have to stack it and then just hairspray it perfectly for it not to move. So I'd rather put that weight in there. So check this out. This is just because I've learned my tension and finger positioning. In the beginning, like, you just want to be consistent. If you have soft tension, you soft tension all the way through. So just because the front of the head dips, I'm going to pull it straight up forward. Won't cut it in. But you see that? Like, I grip everything in. I let the comb come out. So because I'm over directing the hairs on the inside, they're going to be longer on the outside now. And in the back, I'm going to try to build this wall, like right off that occipital bone, right where it ramps out. Chin up. And I say little things like that to my clients, or I've never even taught them that. I'll go, statue head. And every guy goes, like, but again, it's like, you know, you have those clients, you'll start combing them, and they're all, and you're like, no, dude, don't bobble your head with me. You have to direct them. So then I'll pull it straight out, just like how I was going to build that wall. And then I'll comb it down. I'll see my weight line right here at the bottom. See how I just scooped up? You can just see right where it's at. And again, check this out. Even when I do scissor over comb, here's one secret, like, that nobody really explains, and it even took me a while to figure that out. That I'm always teetering a finger on his head, even when I'm doing that. Even when I'm doing scissor over comb, I have something touching his head to keep it steady. It's almost like a kickstand, and it gives me that feel, because if I were just to hover it and you were to sneeze or move, and you know you have those clients that want to look you in the eye when they're talking to you, and they're like, yeah, and then you're like, stop turning your head, I'm cutting your hair, like, same thing. So this just gives you that leverage. Down. And again, I give myself room. That's why I pushed it out, because I can always cut more. Once you cut too deep, that's it. There's no going back. And that's the difference with cutting and coloring. With coloring, it's like, you can fix that maybe, hopefully. If you didn't chemically cut it off completely. Cutting, it's like, too much, that's it. And I love keeping everything clean. Do more work in the beginning. It saves you time at the end. I remember. So again, I'm just going to touch up. Just go over it real fast, over what I already went through. Push that out of the way. Just looking for dark spots. And again, you can see so much different. Like from here to that. You can already see so much stuff pop up. So I did this with the tube closed all the way. And I try to hit it from every direction. Look, it's still catching some. So now I'll open it, which will make it like a 2.5, 3. Now I'll hit the little line that I left right above it. And I'm always ramping out. Always ramp out. You can always push in later if you need to. And this is just a basic men's cut. And it's crazy because I was telling Nevin, he goes to Paul Mitchell School, my apprentice, and some kid came in, he's like, yeah, I want a 0 fade. And I told him, tell him you'll only do a half, because I've trained him now where a half is just the 0 guard on it, and he knows how to blend those 3. And even though a 0 is only 1 more, it's just like, I went, no, just turn it down. Tell him, I guarantee you when you tell your client, like, no, I'm more comfortable, I don't like doing a 0, can we do a half? They'll be like, all right, cool, yeah, that's close enough. You know, it's still going to be that close. Don't do what the client says. They don't know anything about hair. You're the expert. You're the one that tells them. You have to direct them. And when you say it with confidence, they trust you. They trust you. You just have to, but when you just do exactly what they say, you're almost just like, oh yeah, is that okay? Like right to everybody, I'm like, I end men's cuts like, boom, son, you're welcome. You know, and then girls, I'm like, what do you think? Do you like it? You see the difference on that? Like, where it's like, and then girls will just be like, I don't know, I don't feel it. Like, just freaking out that they can't grab their long piece. If a girl tells you she wants 2 inches off, just cut off ½ an inch. That's it, and you'll be solid. All right, let's actually do this haircut now. Love you, Aaron. This is like the quietest Aaron's been ever since I've known him. Thanks again for the video. Yeah, sure. Alright, so I built that last line, up again, and we'll start blow drying. What's in your hair? How good do you say? That's fine. Lay it right in there, probably. So even this, I'm still resting a finger on it, like, and it's funny that when I started doing this, I didn't even notice this. I didn't even explain that part. I just thought I was going like this. But the whole time I have a finger resting on his head, which gives me like a kickstand. It gives me leverage so it doesn't move. So all of a sudden I just look for that weight line. And if I can't see it, tilt their head down and then it's more visible. So I can see right where it's at. You see that at first I hit it, the line was still there because I gave myself room. Then I dug in a little bit deeper, then I knocked it out and I softened it. Better. And again, in the beginning, if you guys aren't doing fades, I'm teaching you guys just basic. You can get away with this on anybody. This isn't like, I'm not teaching you like, yo, here's the sickest fade that if you can get this. It's hard. Anything you do, if you want to be great at anything, let it be the sickest, balayage, ombre, highlights. You guys know there's a basic of doing them, and then there's like the expensive that you're like, yeah, that person knows exactly what they're toning it with. They know their exact formula for everything. They're sectioning everything. They have like 9 assistants doing all the work. Comb it down. Keep everything symmetrical. And look, I'm just ramping straight off the head. I'm not curving in. If I curve in, I'm going to create like a little pineapple. And I tell everybody, I'm like, every guy wants a strong shape, and then I can tailor the back way more, but I want the front full and solid. I don't want like a little faux hawk in the front. And again, guys, like even right now, we're going towards the end of the transition of like bald fades and this barbershop boom. Like when we started cutting hair, it wasn't cool to cut hair. Like Instagram made it cool for us to cut hair. It gave us a platform as visual artists to show off our work. That was a goal before. We came to beauty school, we met some people, and hopefully if we were really good, they'd put us at ISSE and we'd get to just do hair in front of some other people. Like now I have 49,000 people just on my Instagram, where I'm like, I get more people visiting my page than I would get people seeing me if I went to a hair show and did work there, you know, where it's like, you can create your own platform now. You don't need somebody, you don't need a multi-million-dollar company to like show you off. And whenever you're cutting, guys, like, work on going back with it. The hair goes into the blade. Don't chop in. So now that I blow dried it out, everything's extended. I had a client before tell me, oh yeah, I had this barber cut my hair wet, and then he cut it dry again, so I think he didn't know what he was doing. And I went, dude, he was just cross-checking you. He's checking again. Because if you have wavy hair, when you smooth it all out, now you get to cross-check every length. So if there's, you guys know, curly hair, you cut it either completely wet or completely dry. Like, that's it. You don't start halfway and then halfway through it, all the lengths are different. So I always start, I'm like, blow dry it. So again, I'm going to go right back through everything. Now that I blow dried it, comb it down. I see that hangover right there. Head down. So I'm going to see that. I can see the little weight right there. Nice scoop right where I see it. Yeah, it used to be, it was crazy. It was a good time though, guys. You guys, I promise you will miss these days. When you're done with this, it's a different world. You're never going to come back to anything this easy. Or there's no, like, even now it's like, there's a level of expectations from you where it's just, once you get good, you can't dip. Like I said, you can give somebody 100 amazing haircuts, they're always going to remember and bring up the one that wasn't so good. And you're like, really, what about the other 99? You know, it's just, so focus on that and get as good as you can in this industry. It's luckily fun and something where you can stay creative and artistic with, and you can pretty much make your own rules if you get really good. So now I'm just tilting his head, just making sure I don't leave any super dark spots. And you guys, seriously, like, the other biggest thing, right when you get out of school, go as high as you can. Go to Beverly Hills. Don't start small. Don't say you're going to start at supercuts and then you're going to work your way out of it. Everybody says that, but I swear to God, once you tell your clients that you charge $25, it's going to be so hard for you to charge them $30. Like, so just go to a place that it's like, and go assist. Seriously, assisting that's the most underestimated thing, because all the Salon Republics, all the little studio lofts, everyone gets, I have my own spot, but nobody knows that I assisted for almost 3 years. I worked at Heroin between Cahuenga, on Cahuenga between Hollywood and Sunset. I've worked at a couple different of the Carlton salons. oh man, Robert Cromian's. I used to work for the international creative director of Paul Mitchell, which was Robert Cromian's. And again, you have to see how systems are put together. Just because you do a haircut doesn't create an experience. The haircut is the whole experience. I can cut hair outside in the freaking alleyway, but that's worth $2 versus Beverly Hills where it could be worth $150 for the same exact thing. Just because I'm dressed in a collared shirt and I do it in an air-conditioned place where somebody gets a cappuccino, that's where it changes everything. It's the experience. Like, we can do this anywhere we want. And I said, make it fun. Do it with music. Like, I can't cut hair without music. This is the most silence I ever cut hair, and never knows that. Like, every time, like, the music goes out, I'm like, someone put the music on. This is weird. Like, I just freak out on that. Alright, so check this out. So for the most part, since I blow dried his hair already, there's no product in it. There was a little bit of residue that he had from before, but now his hair is going to do whatever I want it to do. And like I said, bone dry. And when we do these hair jams at the loft, like, they're a little bit more thorough where you guys can just ask and be like, yo, what if this is like this? It doesn't have to be such a giant group. It's funny just because I'm like, I know how weird it is to just like sometimes ask like questions, but at the loft, that's what I like about it. And even with guy clients, I like that intimacy. I never liked barbershops. I never liked salons. I always felt like guys felt really uncomfortable asking questions like, hey, can you make my hair look better? No guy's going to say that. Yeah, right. In my life, my dad's life, my grandpa's life, that men are allowed to ask what else they can do with their hair. It's never happened in the history of time. You guys have all the tools in the world, like, just to show them something different. Every guy, I tell guys, I'm about to show you something you've never seen your hair do before, and they'll be like, sure, bro. Like 1,000 clients, every dude. What the dude, so sick. Not one person's been like, oh, dude, I do that all the time. Yeah, yeah, I got this. Don't even worry about it. Just gonna dust the ends. And again, right now, guys, like, even don't get fancy. Don't try to do bald fades. Just do anything you're more comfortable with. The wider the guard, the more room you have, not for error, but just to cover, where the shorter you get, you're gonna see every little line. And hair like his, fine, like white blonde hair, it's really like, if I take him to like a half, like if I started with like a 0 or anything, it looks really patchy and it looks like skin. So it gets really difficult if I go a lot shorter in his hair. Like if I did this on like a Persian kid or a Mexican kid, this would still look so thick on his sides. But the 2 on him, it looks good. It like looks nice and clean. But it's fun and it's super rewarding. And again, even now, that's what I want to push. Like, I figured out that my strength is kind of just inspiring people and just, I'm good at vocalizing things a little bit different than other people, where I can simplify it. Even if I say dude or rad or stoked, I still have like a grammatical English barrier that you guys are like, okay, he's not just like retarded. He's just, he can actually communicate with us and explain what he's doing. And I'm just finessing every little just dot that I see. I'm not going to get all crazy with the razor, but I'm going to clean up around his ears with the trimmers. So I use the Wall Magic Clips as my clippers, Wall Detailers as my trimmers, cordless. And again, I know you guys see like these way dope, perfect, blurry fades, but gain a basic. Just start jogging before you start like running and sprinting. Like I remember we'd go teach classes, and like it would just be a whole salon full of just all girls that like can barely do a half or a 1 fade into like a 2, and everybody was like, oh, 4 a.m. fade, let me do a design hard part. And I was like, no, nobody's doing anything with a razor. Everyone put razors down. Like, it was just, like, I had to be strict, where just start slow. Everything works the same way, but understand just the basic fundamentals. And the shorter the guard, the more detail you see as error. So once you get to a 2 and up, you can almost scissor over comb that. Anything below 1.5, you're going to need the other guard to blend that out. Almost done. Get down a little bit. Almost got you max. Yeah, go for it. All right, you guys. That one's on Aaron.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out for a bit. We'll clean up. If you guys have any questions, come talk to any of them.
Only the Best by Carlos Ramos. Go the other way for you real quick.
Are you guys ready to go now?
It was like the coolest class they've ever seen.
That's why I stayed. It's all good. How long?